I said yesterday I wanted to have some time to take under advisement a la Judge Wapner. The coach is on the hot seat entering the 2025 season. I have a countdown from 5 to 1, and then I've got a few others I just want to address. So here they are. As of right now, and I mean no disrespect to the individuals involved, this is my assessment of who's on the hottest seat, and this takes into account the fact that the owner of the team may be inclined to make a change, may be feeling desperate. I'm not saying the coach deserves to be fired. I'm just looking at all. I think I've disclaimed it enough. I don't know why. I mean, I've been a chronic asshole for 25 years. All of a sudden, I'm going to try to be nice. Dave Canales, number 5, the Panthers head coach, entering year 3. If they have a disaster this year, I think David Tepper, in lieu of throwing a drink on a fan, may fill out a pink slip for Dave Canales. If they have a disaster. And I know there's kind of a vibe that, hey, maybe the Panthers are going to. Look, maybe they will. I don't know. But I know this. There's going to be 6, 7, 8, 9 teams at the end of the year that the feeling is going to be they sucked. And what are they going to do to get better? And if the Panthers fall into that band of teams, could be they disband the coaching staff and David Tepper finds somebody else. Next up, number 4, Cowboys coach Brian Schottenheimer. And look, Jerry Jones doesn't like to pay coaches to not work for him. And if the contract has guaranteed money beyond 2025, and who knows, maybe it doesn't. I mean, Brian Schottenheimer's ship finally comes in at a time when it seemed like he was never going to get a chance to be a head coach. Maybe he agreed to a contract that has no guarantee for 2026, has a team option after 1 year. If Jerry Jones can avoid having to pay Brian Schottenheimer next year, that could make him vulnerable if this season doesn't go well. And when you consider the quality of the division they're in, forget about the Eagles and the Commanders. If they fall behind the Giants, and if the Cowboys end up in last place in the division, I think Schottenheimer could be out after only 1 year. And as we know, coaches getting fired after 1 year happens a lot more frequently than people realize. It could happen in Dallas. Number 3, and I'm not saying he deserves it. He's been dealt a bad hand. Chris Ballard, the GM of the team, has been dealt a bad hand. But Shane Steichen, it feels like we're getting closer and closer to the expiration date. We've got new ownership following the passing of Jim Irsay. We don't know what the Irsay sisters think about Steichen. We don't know how they're going to feel after this season. I think Daniel Jones is going to be the starting quarterback. We're going to see what he can do. And he's going to be carrying on his shoulders the obligation to potentially save Steichen's job. At number 2, the place where Daniel Jones used to be, the New York Giants. Now, I'm a firm believer that John Mara, the co-owner of the team and the guy who's in charge, he needs to make it clear to everyone that he's behind both Coach Brian Daboll and GM Joe Schoen, and that the commitment to keep them wasn't just a year-to-year thing. But see, the problem is, as we've said before, Mara, a day after renewing the commitment to Daboll and Schoen, said, I've just about run out of patience. If that's true, are they on the hot seat? It sure feels like it. I don't think they should be. I think if you're going to make this thing work, you got to give it time. The non-dysfunctional teams give it time. And I think Mara is trying his damnedest to break from the dysfunction of the past 10, 12 years where they're firing coaches and GMs all the time. We'll see. Maybe hard to do if the Giants end up in the basement in the NFC East. If they end up 3-14 or 4-13 or even 5-12, we'll see. And at number 1, as much as I like him, I feel like Mike McDaniel in Miami, this is up or out year for him. If he doesn't do enough, and I don't know what the standard's going to be to get Stephen Ross to keep him, and I don't know if Stephen Ross is even thinking about making a change. He said after the 2024 season, both Chris Greer, the GM, and Mike McDaniel coming back, and all the right things, right? Because you don't want your guys to think they're on the hot seat. You don't want to be dragged down by stress. You want to be able to put their best foot forward. But if the Dolphins aren't competitive this year, if they finish 3rd or 4th in the AFC East and miss the playoffs, it could be the end of the road. I don't know what Stephen Ross is going to do, but it could be the end of the road. We keep hearing about culture change. Why are we changing the culture? Because the existing culture isn't working. Because, look, they overreacted when they fired Brian Flores. They moved on from the Belichick-style hard ass, and they went all the way to the other end of the spectrum with a player-friendly coach who doesn't hold his guys accountable. And now, all of a sudden, he's going to hold guys accountable. I don't know that it's going to work. And I don't know that Tua is the guy. And I think some of those guys who have been linked with leaving, they may have come to the conclusion Tua is not the guy. A lot of pressure this year for a lot of people in Miami. And if the wheels come off early, could be interim coach with a full-blown search beginning then and culminating in a new coach being hired after the season ends. A couple of other names that I think I need to address, like with Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, I actually think the 49ers are going to be good this year, but if they have a disaster, I don't know what Jed York's going to do. The 49ers are one of those teams that would be dysfunctional, but for the fact that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have done a great job of overcoming the dysfunction. So when you have an owner who may decide, I just need a fresh start, if they fail to make it to the playoffs this year, if they are on the wrong side of 500, I just don't think that's going to happen. But if it does happen, it's something to keep an eye on. The situation in Green Bay is kind of awkward with a new team president and CEO, Ed Policy. He said that there won't be extensions for Matt LaFleur or GM Brian Gutekunst before the season. So it's going to be after the season. They're going to decide, extend or move on. Those are the only choices. I don't know why you'd move on from LaFleur and Gutekunst given what they've done during their time on the job. It's just awkward because it's out there. It's hanging out there. We're not going to extend them before the season, which means after the season, they either get extended or they get asked to leave. And then the two AFC North coaches that I think are getting closer and closer to just weird. John Harbaugh in Baltimore and Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. I think both guys deserve to have their jobs as long as they want them. But at what point does ownership decide we need to make a change? And I think if the owner of either team decides, Steve Bisciotti in Baltimore or Art Rooney II in Pittsburgh, if they decide to do something, I think you make them available in trade if they want to be traded. I mean, they have to want to be traded or it's pointless. Maybe the coaches decide it's time to walk away, but there's too much spinning of the wheels in the mud. There's too much close but no cigar. Now, for the Ravens, it's getting back to a Super Bowl. For the Steelers, it's winning a playoff game. But long drought for both teams. Ravens haven't been to a Super Bowl since the 2012 season. They've had the league MVP twice since 2019. They've had the number one seed twice. They just haven't been able to cash it in. And again, Harbaugh should have that job as long as he wants. He should be able to retire there. I just wonder the cumulative stress and pressure of getting close and not getting it done. Does it cause ownership to say, we're right there. We just need that one extra kick to get over the top? And in Pittsburgh, they are doing desperate things to try to win a playoff game. The DK Metcalf contract, unprecedented display of desperation by the Steelers. They've never behaved that way before. This Aaron Rodgers thing, unlike the Steelers. So if they fail to win a playoff game, what else will they do that's unlike the Steelers? Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.